Let me guess, you saw 1.6 million funded in 5-figure trades in the title and thought, yeah right, another TikTok clown trying to sell another course. Well, I would think the same. But here's the thing, this isn't a flex video. It's a case study of one of our students, Blankets, who went from just figuring things out to stacking 1.6 million in prop firm funding, and now she pulls $10,000 trades like it's her part-time job. If you think I'm making this up, just join my Discord for free from the SETinnercircle.com website and just message her yourself. Now look, she's not some trading god. She didn't invent some magical indicator. She didn't even trade for her own money. She just followed the same system you're about to see in this video. Now, will this work for you? I don't know. Can you follow simple instructions without spiraling into FOMO-induced clown trades? Cool, then yes. So stick around until the end because in this video, I'll show you exactly how she did it and why this system works better than 99% of the BS floating around YouTube. To understand her transformation, you need to see where she started because it's probably exactly where you are right now. And well, it all started with trading with her own capital, okay? Trading with your own capital, there's not really anything wrong with it, but it's inefficient in my opinion, right? It's kind of like going on horseback when you could just take a fucking bullet train in China and go 800 kilometers an hour. Next thing you know, you're across the country in 2 hours versus taking 2 weeks by horseback. All that to say, guys, whenever you're trading with your own capital, it's good, but there's certain issues, right? So you're gonna be taking on a lot of risk by putting your money, a lot of it, in a broker or a crypto exchange like Blankets did. Right? Did she have any major issues with these exchanges? No, but let's just say she's told me a couple of stories of how she would get screwed many times, getting barely stopped out of a position. Meanwhile, she should have gone profits. Imagine this is you're looking at a great trade, it's going well, it's going well, it's going well. Maybe you were looking to get in over here. You set your stop loss down here, take profit, let's say up here. And then next thing you know, you set your stop loss here, but your exchange or your broker just stops you out, right? By spread or whatever they call it. And that's something that is very unfortunate that happens with, just about any broker or any sort of way that you'll be trading, but it's a lot worse whenever it's with your own capital. Why? Because let's say you're supposed to only lose maybe $500 on that trade, right? And you should have made 2,000. That is actually your money, right? Whenever you're with a prop firm, the worst thing that can happen is that you lose a bit of your maximum drawdown. So this is how she ended up starting out. She was just focused in on trading with her own capital and she wasn't able to be very efficient, right? Another thing is she dealt with a lot of emotions when trading with her own capital, right? And so the typical kind of emotions that you're going to be dealing with is going to be, well, anger. It's going to be upset. It's going to be greed. It's going to be fear. And there's also going to be shame. There's going to be guilt. These are the typical things that happen. So whenever you're trading, you're going to deal with anger whenever something doesn't play out the way that you wish it would. You're also going to feel some sadness sometimes whenever you can't even get angry anymore. You're going to be upset whenever, well, their results are not where you want. You're going to be maybe upset whenever you barely miss a trade. And then of course, fear and greed, they're really big things that pretty much everybody deals with. You're fearful whenever things are not going well. You're thinking about cutting your position early. You're greedy whenever things are going well. And the main thing is that you're not able to just trade and think clearly. That's another reason why we really focus on prop firms because, well, prop firms allow you to trade with other people's money. In other words, your emotions are instantly way easier to deal with. So think about it like this, right? Imagine that your colleague gives you 20 bucks for you to go buy some beers, okay? And usually, if it was your 20 bucks, you would take a lot of time looking around, trying to find, the best beer, trying to get your best value for money, go different grocery stores to actually get a best deal. But with him, you might just go to the nearest spot, grab the 20 bucks, buy whatever beers, even though it's a terrible deal. You don't care, all you did was just comply with whatever he said, okay? And in the end, that's kind of what prop firms are, because with your own capital, you're gonna be a lot more attentive whenever you're taking your trades, because if you were to take a loss, if you were to fail to follow your plan, you will definitely lose money on that trade. That's a fact. If you risked $500, that $500 is completely gone. Meanwhile, at the prop firm, if you lose 500 out of, let's say, a $10,000 maximum drawdown that you would have like a 100K account, it doesn't mean anything because you need to hit the 10K drawdown for you to lose what you put into that funded account, which if you passed it and you got one small payout is actually $0, which means your emotions are mostly out of the way. Another thing that she was relying on for her trading was, well, signals groups. So she would be in all sorts of different signal groups looking to get a signal here, a signal there, this crypto trade, this Forex trade. And the main issue with this, guys, is lack of data. okay? And a lack of data is a really, really big thing, whether you're trading your own strategy or taking signals or whatever you want to call them from other places is, well, if somebody tells you that they have, let's say, a crazy, 80% win rate, they made, 80 R that month, it sounds great on paper. The main problem is, how can you prove that? Do you actually have a spreadsheet with every single one of your trades tracked, all of the call outs, right? The links to the actual call out of the trade, them telling you to actually close the trade at that time as opposed to just hindsight. You guys get the point. Unless you have data to actually prove that you traded it properly and that you signaled it accurately, both for entry management and the exit of the trade, it actually doesn't mean anything, which is why most people, whenever they're in signals rooms or taking these signals or other people's trades, they fail because they don't have actual data to prove it's going to work, and usually they're not actually updated in time to properly close trades to get the same result as that trader if, and big if, the trades were actually profitable. And that's just 10% of the whole thing. I've talked about this in other videos, but there's so many other ways you could screw it up. I mean, you could screw up the trade even though they signaled everything properly for these little reasons that we mentioned earlier with emotions, etc. But anyways, it's not a good idea to be all trapped up in your emotions, to be trading your own capital, putting all of your money into brokers and these crypto exchanges. Meanwhile, you can't really trust most of them unless you were going with a really, really heavily regulated one. Even then, it takes forever to put your money in and out of the system due to traditional banking usually. And then, of course, well, you don't really have a whole lot of data whenever you're just following random signals. And so, I mean, look, her results weren't anything crazy. She did have a decent amount of capital to work with. And so let's say she was able to make, 5 to 10K per month, by following these systems. It's great, right? It's not too bad. I think most of you would be happy with that, but she was working with quite a lot of capital and she was burning through a good amount of it, unfortunately, by not really knowing where to allocate it. And so the fact that she wasn't getting the kind of returns she was looking for, right, multiple 5 figures, what ended up happening is that she would actually spread her capital and her attention too thin in different places. What I always preach is just focusing in on one thing, because if you just focus on one thing, as opposed to, I don't know, like let's say 5 things, you can put in 10 hours in one thing versus, let's say, like 2 hours in 5 things. Now, as we all know, if you put in 10 hours into one thing, you're gonna get exponentially better at that thing as opposed to 2 hours in 5 different things that are all a little bit different, which will make you get all jumbled. Think about it like reading a book. Let's say you have, a 200-page book. If you spend 5 hours reading it, guaranteed you're gonna finish it. If you were to spend 2 hours trying to read 5 different books in totally different niches, some self-help, some fiction, etc., you're probably not going to be able to remember all these books very distinctly, and you're probably not going to finish any of them. You're also going to get a lot more burnt out mentally. You guys get the point. So yes, she was doing well, but she could have easily been doing 10x more by putting in 10% less work and effort. So she was trading just about every day, looking at way too many setups herself, following signals, and this made her waste a lot of time. Another thing too is, well, psychological state. All right, she was getting really tired. She was getting upset. She was just overall thinking of quitting because, well, whenever you've been at it for a long time and you're still just staying at the same level, plateauing, a lot of people will give up, right? Whether you're plateauing kind of break even or in some profits, it's still actually the same experience because it's psychological. So at that point, you kind of just get tired of what you've been doing. You've just been doing the same thing and you're hoping to get better results because you're putting in the same amount of time, effort, you're constantly trying to try new things, and in the end she just wasn't able to level up, which is why whenever she reached a point where she was just too tired, she realized, okay, I'm plateaued, I don't know what to do. Well, she realized I need to find a way to leverage my time, leverage my expertise, and really lock in. I need a proper strategy. All right, the main thing is getting a proper strategy with proper data to actually prove profitability. Another big thing is, of course, having proper capital and ideally using prop firms to reduce psychological strain and also to leverage more capital with less risk, right? So whenever you have the prop firms, you're able to get a lot more capital, a lot less risk. The psychological side will typically diminish over time. And if you have the right systems, you can even semi-automate your trading and trade straight from TradingView to any prop firm with risk auto set and also your maximum daily profit / loss automatically enforced, right? So she realized she needed a couple of these things set up for herself. Some of these things, you know, it took a bit of time for her to realize, of course, from experience. But case in point, she got to a point where she needed the strategy. She needed somebody to ideally coach her to actually let her know this is what you're supposed to be doing to get this result and proof that that person can help you. And case in point, this is exactly where she got to recently. And she said, I'm done. I need to find a solution. And look, guys, once she plugged into the SAT trading system, it didn't take years. It just took structure. And the results, they came fast. Things started to click really fast. I mean, guys, she got funded 1.6 million within 3 weeks of joining. It's legitimately insane. And right away, she was able to start making $11,000 per trade, just like that. She risked 1%, made $11,000 across 4 accounts. Consistently doing that every day, it starts to add up a lot. And you know, the simplest thing about this as well was obviously she already had a decent amount of information, a decent amount of knowledge. She just needed us to piece things together for her. And for it to be very clear, how do I actually get these accounts passed? What strategy do I use? Give me some data. So we said, here's our SAT strategy, here's the data, here's how you backtest it, here's how you prove the profitability yourself. She saw the numbers, she practiced it herself for a week, and that's how she was able to start making $10,000 to $11,000 a trade that easily and that quickly, because our SAT strategy is ridiculously easy. So that's one thing. Of course, we were able to pass all the accounts for her, nice and easy. That's one thing that we have that is incredibly valuable, if you ask me, because a lot of people, they spend months trying to pass these accounts themselves. So we passed all those in just a couple of days. And well, once she was funded, all she had to do was just apply the strategy we gave her, and we just kept coaching her through everything, gave her whatever resources that she needed to actually continue to win. And well, she's going to be getting some very, very nice payouts consistently every single week for the rest of her life, because the strategy she has now, if I were to get hit by a meteorite, if my whole team was to get hit by one, she would actually be able to continue employing that and actually improving herself. The main thing that's very different, guys, between where she was before and today is that, you know, she's traveling full time. She's very busy, all right? And she doesn't have time to just be looking at all the different crypto markets, shitcoins, etc. 24/7, leverage trading this and that, putting all of her personal capital in different places to properly manage risk. She doesn't have time to do all that, okay? What she does have time for is a couple of hours per week, not per day, to just place a couple of trades on her funded accounts using our system, once again, that's semi-automated, and make easily 5 figures. Just like that, okay? And that's all she has to do now, because before she was extremely focused on trying to do this, trying to do that, putting herself into all sorts of predicaments, and yet all she has to do now is just hop on a couple times a week, place these trades, that's it. Places it and waits, set and forget. Now look, guys, this didn't happen because she was just trying harder. It happened because she finally stopped doing the things that don't work, and she committed to a system that actually does. So whenever she joined and she got her first 400K account, the first mistake that she made was trying to do what she did before plus what we're teaching her. So that morning right there on the 7th of May, she took a bunch of trades that morning and lost right around like 10 to 11K. I think it was about like 8 to 9. So one big thing that we noticed right when she joined and we got her first account funded was that she was still employing some of these, you know, old techniques and old ways of trading, plus adding in our system, which didn't work out so well. So she ended up taking some trades on her own on this morning on the 7th of May, and she lost right around 8 to 9K on her 400K funded account, not actual real money. She only spent 2 grand for that 400K account, right? But because we ended up coaching her throughout that day, and we let her know, hey, I don't know what trades you're taking, but this is not part of your plan. And we brought her back once again to actually following the plan that we got her, the strategy, and reminded her of the data. All she had to do was just follow the plan, entry, stop loss, take profit. And by taking the trades that we recommended her that day, she made all of her losses back. Even though she made some mistakes, we managed to coach her the same day to actually make back around, I don't know what that is, like $12,500. Another big thing that really, really helped her was actually journaling. So one big focus that I have is journaling and data, right? Data and journaling, they come in together. You build data through journaling and you build good habits through journaling as well. It's a really, really amazing thing. But if you don't journal, well, you'll never actually get anywhere. So we actually built a trading journal, like a platform, like a fucking application that automatically grabs her trades from her accounts and brings them straight into the journal. So her trading account to the journal, she adds notes, adds screenshots, and we can review things anytime. We noticed that with one account, she ended up making some repeated mistakes. We took a look, we realized what the mistake was, we talked to her about it, and she gave us her 2 cents, we gave her our 2 cents, and from there, we were able to give her a new plan, and she was able to avoid those mistakes, hence why she's able to make 5 figures per day very easily. The reason why most traders never hit this level, guys, is really simple, honestly. They think it needs to be more complicated. okay? She realized it's not that complicated, all right? It's simple. She was coachable, which was really nice, and all she had to do was just say, hey Seb, what do I have to do? Here's the data, here's the strategy, here's the account, here's how you execute on it, here's how you journal, here's how you utilize us. Very simple. She utilized it, kept things simple, and she was able to get 1.6 million funded within a few weeks. And within those 3 weeks, she was able to easily make 10K per day, pretty much every single day that she's trading. And guys, if you think it's bullshit, once again, you can just speak to her directly in the Discord. There are plenty of other people, which I've coached in the past, that had the exact same access that she has right now, but did not manage to succeed like she did. Because, once again, it's not about the tools. It's about how you actually employ them. It's about being coachable. And all you need to do is just follow simple steps. If you can follow simple steps, you can get insanely good results like 10K a day with $1.6 million in funding. But the thing is, guys, you need to have data. If you don't have data, it's all pointless. And that's the real reason she made it happen. Not by trading harder, but by trading smarter. With support, structure, and a system that actually performs. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, damn, I've been trading for months or years and I'm still stuck in the same place. You've got two options. You can keep doing it solo and hope that eventually clicks. Or you can shortcut your way to results by following the same system that helped her get 1.6 million funding and 5-figure payouts. If you're ready to move forward, hit the link in the description, book a call, and we'll see if we can help you get similar results. Or you can also access my free trading course if you're broke right now. Either way, you've seen what's possible. Now it's just about whether you're ready to actually go and get it.